We don't do birthday shout outs, but if we did, shout out to the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, 76 years old today.
Happy birthday, Aretha. Nice. You know, I saw her live once when I was a little kid.
Yeah?
Yep. Saw her live when I saw the Jackson 5.
Wow.
I was in like second grade.
Okay.
Front row, Madison Square Garden.
This is Late Night Parents. I am the real Ted Hicks. Across from me is the real Richie V, a.k.a. Late Night Rich.
Teddy Ted! What's going on?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm well. Well, no, excuse me. I'm great.
You're great?
I don't know. I always ask her, how are you doing? And she goes, I'm great.
Okay, well, that's good.
And I'm like, and I kind of chuckle a little bit because I'm like,
You're like, okay.
Okay.
Doing Tony the Tiger imitations? Okay.
But, as we stated in pre-pro.
There it is. Got to say pre-pro for this segment. Very good.
Yes, segment 1. I can't believe I'm saying this. It's Palm Sunday, so happy Palm Sunday to everyone, and it's Stormy Daniels Day.
I just have to ask. I mean, of course, I know who Stormy Daniels is and all.
The world knows who Stormy Daniels is.
But how did this become Stormy Daniels Day?
Someone on Twitter decided to put a hashtag and Stormy Daniels Day, and that's how it started.
Okay.
That's how it started. But ways to follow the show, latenightparents.com, where you can go to the site for the latest blogs, podcasts, live shows, and Twitter and Facebook feeds. So, Rich, yesterday, and I don't know if you know this, but 60 Minutes is going up against us right now.
They don't stand a chance.
They don't stand a chance.
They might as well just, turn off the cameras, turn off the equipment, and let us broadcast.
They've been promoting the Stormy Daniels interview all week long, and they're actually going up against our live show right now.
Who in their programming wasn't paying attention?
I don't know. The last time I checked, this is a ratings juggernaut.
Absolutely. The billions and billions of listeners. Hello out there, listeners.
Hello, world. Yesterday was the March for Your Lives rally.
Yes, everywhere.
Everywhere. Heavy concentration in Washington, D.C.
Yep.
But it was in every local city.
Yep.
Millions of people petitioning.
Driven by the students, driven by the youth.
Protesting. Trying to get some type of gun reform.
Yes.
Trying to get common sense laws put into effect.
Yep.
And not trying to affect anyone's Second Amendment.
Yes.
Okay.
No, but seriously, I mean, yeah, there's, you and I have had those conversations many times, and I am, I will not toe the NRA purist line of everyone should have a gun, because no, everyone shouldn't have a gun, and there should be some controls, and we're saying controls, not limitations per se. Let's face it, a person with psychological issues and medication and have seen treatment for, and are the kinds of issues that historically and scientifically have shown could make someone more likely to perform some kind of violent act. No, those type of people should not be able to get a weapon.
Okay.
And again, I'll just say my opinion, since this is all my opinion we're talking about, right? I don't really have a problem, though I understand why some people would argue against it, with saying no one under 21 should be able to say get a rifle. Because, once you get out of New York, you got to get out of the cities, and it's a rite of passage. A father gives a 22 to his 15-year-old son, and they go hunting together, and it is no big deal.
Okay.
So especially 18, I understand it, but it could go both ways on that. But yeah, there's gun registration. I personally have no issue with, and interviews and a process. Can't just walk into a store, go through the FBI check and get a weapon. There should be some checks and balances across the board for everyone. That's all.
Is there a time limit? Meaning, because in some states, if I have a legal driver's license,
right,
and I don't have any type of prior infringements or
right,
warrants or anything,
yep, you go through the FBI check.
Technically, I can be in and out in 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah, no problem. In some states.
Do you have a problem with that, or do you not have a problem with that when you factor in the whole mental health piece? That people seem so the lawmakers are skirting around.
Right. So if the process has been followed as it's supposed to be, the person would get caught when that FBI check was done.
Okay.
If we of course have to go back to more recent events, and if people have reported psychological incidents and it going through and it going up the chain as it's supposed to, that would get caught. But again, I have no problem with the registration and verification in that, for law enforcement, for example, and this was before any involvement I had even remotely with law enforcement. I feel that they should be able to know if they're going to someone's house on a call. They should be able to at least look up and say, oh wow, this guy might have 40, 50, one or two weapons in the house. It's good for law enforcement to know what they're walking into. Again, how it is for us in New York, can't just go get anything anywhere.
Right.
It just doesn't work like that. It's a little bit of a hassle, but it's okay. I feel that it's acceptable.
Okay.
Now, Governor Cuomo was talking about putting in possibly a 10-day delay. Again, especially because of what we go through in New York, I don't see that's necessary. We're already vetted beyond vetting before we're being able to get a firearm. So I don't see the point in that unless he's talking about doing that for rifles as well. And again, you're not concealing a rifle. Let everything else have gone through properly. You have to trust the system that you put in place.
Gotcha.
I don't see it necessarily. But I'm fine for let the rest of the country follow the same ownership laws that, let's say, we had to follow out here.
Okay.
Hey, why not?
I want to circle back. We do respect, we do support the young folks that are out there marching and protesting and getting the word out, and most importantly, applying pressure on these lawmakers, on these politicians. I've said in podcasts, I've said on our live shows, anywhere I've had the opportunity to say it, I've said it written. You got to vote these jokers out of office.
Right.
If they're not going to do anything, vote them out.
Right.
Period. That's the only thing they understand.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can sit here and we can hedge back and forth over, yes, it's your Second Amendment versus stricter gun laws versus lawmakers that aren't doing a darn thing for you.
Right.
And I've said time and time again, the amount of people that get out there and vote for the presidential election should be mirrored
in the midterms.
When it comes midterms, when it comes local, when it comes to county executives, municipalities, councilmen.
You almost want to say there should be more. Because those councilmen, those local legislators, those senators, they have more of an impact on your day-to-day life than the president does.
Yes.
Those are the people who really control or dictate or legislate what's going to happen to you in your home, in your town, your village, in your state. So, more people should be voting for them than necessarily to get out for the president. But of course, that's the high-stakes one. That's the high-profile one. That's the one that affects everyone. So you kind of get it.
What I do notice, and what I've mentioned on several occasions also, is Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton weren't coming to my local church for votes.
Right.
But Susan Rice and Dorothy Gooseby and the other local Nassau County execs were.
Right.
So these are people that you can get out, you can actually touch, you can call, you'll see amongst, in your neighborhoods.
Right, sure.
So I just think, the same intensity should be out there. But for those young folks, I love what they're doing because they are applying pressure.
Yeah, and it's needed. You want to see what happens since, let's face it, so many, I would think the majority of those young folks out there who have started this movement, they can't vote yet.
They can't vote yet. They can't vote. And I'm excited about the next couple of years, because they're going to be voting,
right,
and they're going to be running.
Right. Yeah, and let's see what happens down the line. You know, it's funny. In my town out in Huntington, New York, we had a young man who, you know, went through the school system and said, you know what, I want to make a change, and he ran.
Yes.
And he lost. I think he ran for councilman. He lost the first time around.
Okay. But
last election cycle, he won, and he's out there trying to do things. James Tomeo, if you ever get a chance to hear this, congratulations again. He's out there trying to do things, trying to make things happen for, you know, what is his home, is his own school district, is the people he grew up with. So it's good, and it's good to see.
That's perfect. It's stuff like that you want to see, you want to hear about, and for the most part, most important part, you want to support.
Right.
We were scheduled to have in the queue. He's currently not here. Trevor Vassell from Gospel Celebration. This show, Trevor's show, is, I guess, one of our label buddies.
Okay. WGBB AM 1240.
There you go. So I'm guessing he's preparing for the big concert that's happening next week. But I did want to mention that on Saturday, March 31st, at the One Way Church of Christ, 216-11 Merrick Boulevard, that's in Laurelton, New York, 11413, the Gospel Celebration, 1240.com. There's going to be several, praise dancers that are going to be there, gospel singers,
okay,
all the above. So I did definitely want to give him a plug, but as we know, in live radio, the show must go on.
The show must go on. But Ted, since the show is going to go on,
yes,
I understand that you have a story to tell involving mini you and technology.
Oh my God! I will tell you this: technology is and that wasn't Brian Graves going boop. That
wasn't the super producer.
Because
okay.
Because the question is, I'll title the story "Who's in the Doghouse." I'm usually the one in the doghouse in my household.
Okay.
Not sure about you.
Oh yeah, who else is going to be there?
So my story, I'll get right to it, revolves around my son Nemo, an iPhone 6 Plus.
Okay.
And an iTunes account, and a valid Visa card. So you take those components, you put them together.
Shake it up. Open it. And you get what charged to the card?
$334 worth of apps.
What? Wait. Let's get that one more time. Do we have a double roll?
$334 was charged to the phone. I will tell you this much. I provided him his sister's old iPhone with no voice plan on it.
Yes.
Just with a data plan that I explained to you that he can use in the house.
Yep.
Someone, not me, decided to add him to the iTunes family plan.
Okay.
When he's added to the iTunes family plan, guess what?
He can make purchases.
So my wife last night, I'm downstairs hanging out. I'm not sure what I was watching on TV. I think it was I'm not sure which basketball game. It was the Philly. No, I'm not sure. It was Philly and somebody was playing.
Okay.
So I come down and she has her phone in her hand and she's showing me all these charges that was on her account.
Your wife?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm looking. I'm like, whoa. I was like, that doesn't look good.
Right.
And she was like, what's this charge? I said, well, maybe that's the family plan iTunes for $13-14.99. So she showed me about 30 more charges. And I was like, whoa. I said, man. I said, this is on your account?
Right.
And I was like, whoo.
It's not mine.
Nyla's
looking like, not me.
She proceeded to blow her stack. Because she asked me to do a deep dive.
Of course.
Okay, so I did the deep dive. Pulled up who was making the purchases.
Yes.
And it happened to be Nemo's phone. And I guess some
gotta hear this. You know what? Wait, he should have been here.
I know he should have been here. Somewhere in his mind, he was making these purchases, and I said, "Well, how do you think you were making the purchases?"
Right.
He said, "I just looked on the phone and it just said Visa, so I just thought it was racking up against like our iTunes account or something like that." I'm like, "Bro." So right now, he's writing a 300-word essay of "Mommy, why I'm sorry for doing this." Because here's the deeper lesson, and which I didn't see, which my wife is profound.
Oh,
she
go
said,
ahead. And go ahead.
She said, "Ted," she said, "Nemo, you were stealing." She said, "You were stealing. You are a thief."
Yeah, see,
and I'm like,
of what I know of the story so far, I can't co-sign that one.
Right.
Sorry, Pat.
You know. So last night, it was to the point. You know what I did? I wrote a check to her.
Fight it. Just fight it with Apple.
Yeah, we could fight it.
Fight it with Apple. And I mean, the worst that happens, they say no, you're responsible for it. That's the worst. I bet you they give you credit for half of it at least.
I wrote her a check just so that she would stop.
So, I say there's, I won't say it's a deeper lesson. There's a different lesson.
And hang on 1 second.
Yep.
It happened not in one day.
Of course not.
It happened over maybe a 20-day period.
One billing period, though.
Right.
So
what is your deeper lesson, Rich?
The deeper lesson is, and this is no one's fault, but because let's face it, the young man is still a young man.
Young man is still a young man.
Young man doesn't quite yet understand that, one, there is no such thing as free.
Right.
And that everything gets paid for one way or another. And that Visa doesn't mean it's just swipe the card and keep walking and everything's paid for.
Right.
It means you just got to pay for it later on.
Now, to his defense, on his Xbox, I've applied prepaid cards to his Xbox.
Sure, so you can buy stuff there.
Yeah,
right?
so I'm thinking maybe he's associating it that way, but I'm not even sure.
That could be as well, because there's no reason for him not to.
I'm not even sure. I'm just like, here's a card. Right. It's a $100 card.
Right.
Here you go. You can buy your little, you can get your credits. Yeah. Put that card on there and use that card. I've done that on multiple occasions. But now, the way I was being talked to, like I'm the delinquent dad. I'm like, wait a minute.
How could you? So
you should be all over him right now. I'm like, oh my goodness.
I knowing Nemo, I think it's safe to say he definitely wasn't being malicious or wasn't even aware of what was really happening. Knowing Nemo, I really don't think so.
We talked about it today after service. We went to, and this is a plug, to Hurricanes Barbecue and Wings.
Yeah.
We sat there and right there in Stewart Ave, and we talked about it.
Okay.
I said, listen, hey, kid, I'm going to try and explain to you what happened. You just got hit by a bus and you don't even realize.
Right.
Okay? And this is how you can't let this stuff happen again. You got to think. Right. So I like to think there's going to be lessons learned out of this.
Absolutely.
From all of us.
Absolutely.
Don't put your card.
Don't put your kid on the account. But did you have him recreate what he did so that he knows exactly, where it happens when it happens?
He showed me.
Okay.
He showed me. Because I said, if it's free, it's going to let you tunnel through.
Right.
If it's not, it's going to prompt you again.
Right. Which, there is the setting in there where you can have it prompt for purchases every time. Right. And not even like do a delay prompt after 15 minutes or anything like that. So I got to check that one too, so that it'll catch him.
I didn't configure this. I didn't set it up.
Right.
I came home and I was just like, okay, he's rocking and rolling.
He's good.
We don't have to sign a voice to it. I'm like, oh great, I don't have a voice bill coming through.
Yeah.
And I just, between last night and today, I just paid 5 months worth of a voice bill for him.
Fight it. Fight that bill with Apple. I am quite certain that they'll back off some. especially if it's in the same app and things like that. It's like, no, you know. Well, could be worse. I've heard stories of much more money than that.
Right.
So you caught it. It's seen. I'm sure he understands now. Lesson learned for all involved. Life is good.
We like to think. Hey, did you know next week is World Backup Day? I remember we did a show a couple years ago on World Backup Day, and happens to happen, and World Backup Day is actually the day before April Fool's Day.
Because people get caught. Yeah, wasn't it last year? Or maybe it was the year before. I guess it was last year when our friends from Cronus joined us.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. That was it. So, next week we'll touch upon, the different ways you need to back up your data, how many different places you need to back up your data. Yep. I got to tell you, someone came to me with a data recovery request. I looked at it, you looked at it.
Oh, that one. Yes.
That one. And I handed it back to them today.
Sorry.
With a card from Acronis to say, here you go. Next time, back your data up in multiple places, and you won't run into situations like this.
Yep. One copy, one version, one file, one location is not a backup.
That is true. What was I going to get into? Think very quickly. I don't want to talk about the Apple for Education yet. I think we can talk about it after our featured guest joins us. Let's see.
We did just briefly talk there about vendors and support and things like that. I am going to give a little plug of a positive. It's not finished yet, but it's already been a very positive customer experience I had with Fitbit.
Oh, really?
Fitbit and Fitbit Blaze. So I received.
Is that a new Fitbit Blaze?
There's one in the mail coming.
Oh, okay.
I received this as a Christmas gift just this past December. So this is only 4 months old. Okay. The battery, even like 2 months ago, where it's supposed to last 3 to 5 days, where it did for the first month, it doesn't even go a day now. 8 hours, 9 hours.
Sounds like an Apple Watch.
That's what I said. I said, this isn't an Apple Watch. This isn't supposed to happen.
You can barely make it home.
And you're charging. See?
You can barely make it home.
That's what I was going through with this. So I go on their forums. Now, of course, it registers automatically when you connect it to the app and everything. I go on the forums, see other people mentioning they're having very similar issues. I put in my reply, yep, I'm seeing the same thing, blah, 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 blah. Customer service rep gets back to me via email the next day.
Okay.
We see you're having these problems. Try these things.
Okay.
I tried the things. Made a little difference, but didn't really make much of a difference. I posted that up there. They said, we're sorry to hear you're having the problems, even though you tried our fixes. Please verify your address, and we're going to send you another one.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Really, and it's already in the mail. I say, here's the tracking number. It's on its way. When you get it, throw the old one away. Because they're just sending the Fitbit, no straps, no nothing like that. Because this is all modular, it pops out and all that.
Right.
Like when you get it, throw it away. That's it. So what that tells me is they have a known issue.
Yes, they do.
And anyone who mentions that they have the problem, they'll respond to it. They'll get it taken care of. They want a positive experience, and I'm going to say on the outset, that's how it should be everywhere. Especially these days, where you buy something, it's online, it's talked, it's registered. They know all about you. They know your usage and everything else. That's how it should be.
I don't disagree with you.
So kudos to Fitbit. Your folks are doing the right thing, and I look forward to getting it in the mail next week.
My wife has a Fitbit.
She does. Which one?
I believe that same model that you have.
The Blaze?
The Blaze.
Great device.
I believe the same model that you have. So she hasn't run into any problems, but water repellent, water repellent.
Water repellent. You're not supposed to go swimming with this thing on, but if it gets splashed on, it's fine. It's got the full color display, multiple screens, tracks your heart rates, your locations, syncs with your mobile devices, tracks all your exercises. Really, really nice device. So I was very upset when it started acting up.
Perfect. Well, got a segue to mention that Racing Kid both mentioned that as fathers. And when your child has a special needs, finding products that make him or her feel cool and or trendy can be very difficult. The Center for Disease Control reports 15% of American children have a developmental disability, including autism, ADHD, and the most recent report from the Census Bureau estimates 5.2% of school-aged children have a physical or mental disability. Born with dyslexia, ADHD, anxiety, auditory processing disorder, and short-term memory issues, teachers told Alexandra Connell parents that she would never succeed in school. Now a graduate of Columbia University, Alexandra has launched a website called Patty and Ricky, dedicated to products that meet the needs of people with special abilities or needs. Our featured guest for the evening, Alexandra Connell, I'd like to welcome you to the show.
Thank you so much, Ted. Thanks for having me.
Wonderful, wonderful. We also have Rich Valdez in the studio too, Alexandra. I guess we'll start, as I usually say, we'll decrease and allow you to increase and tell your story.
Wonderful. I was born with dyslexia and ADHD and all the learning disabilities that you mentioned before. My mom was my advocate. Pattiandricky.com, Patty was my mom. She was an incredible, fashionable woman, and she was diagnosed with a brain tumor 10 years ago. And when she got diagnosed with a brain tumor, there wasn't really anything fashionable that was out there for her. And I remember especially ordering her a pink rose cane so that she would feel fashionable. And a lot of people would stop her on the streets and be like, "Oh my God, I love your walking stick. I love your cane. Where did you get it?" And through my experience with caretaking for my mom and my relationship with my cousin Ricky, which is Patty and Ricky. My cousin Ricky, he was born unable to walk or talk, but we had an incredible relationship, and he was a really cool teenager. And through my experience with growing up with my cousin Ricky and my caretaking for my mom, I realized the power of fashion, and that it really allowed people to feel good, and saw a need for a marketplace to bring things together for people with all different types of disabilities, visible and invisible disabilities, a one-stop shop where they could find stylish and functional products, and that's what Patty and Ricky is.
Perfect. I have a couple of things that I want to say ADHD is not. ADHD is not a problem of laziness. ADHD is not something that most kids totally outgrow. And it's not all about hyperactivity. Alexandra, could you tell us why some of these false facts are out there about ADHD? Trying to
think about my personal experience with ADHD. I was a kid that was talking in class and needed to move around in order to concentrate. And I needed to fidget to concentrate. And sometimes the classroom isn't designed for students that need to move around. So, I think those beliefs are about ADHD are out there because of the environment in which schools are set up, and kids that need to move around. I need to move around in order to even concentrate on this call right now. I move and I have my fidget ring on, and
Gotcha.
And it allows me to concentrate and to feel calm, and that's been my experience with my ADHD. But it has been also a gift, especially in the workplace.
Okay.
Alexander, this is Rich. I'm had a brief moment to look through the pattiandricky.com site, and I got to tell you, just what I saw over a couple of minutes, it kind of opened my eyes to, the needs of those with special issues, and what I really like is that you're not focusing, like I think some might do, just on kids and their needs, which are great, of course, but you're also really looking at adult men and women and their needs, the simple things like you mentioned, the fidget jewelry, and the fashionable eye patches. And what kind of stood out to me for the children, for like blind kids, and the braille accessories for everything from their sneakers to bracelets, things like that. I guess my question, and if it's too much to answer in one shot, that's fine. Just wondering, when you put things on the website, what kind of evaluation evaluation process or maybe vetting process is there for testing these products for those who have the needs?
Yes, definitely. One thing that's really awesome about pattiandricky.com is that we have brought together designers that have created the products. And most of those designers are individuals with disabilities themselves or have a family member with a loved one with a disability that they've created a product for. So, nothing about us without us. So many of our designers have disabilities themselves, and it fit a need that they needed. When it comes to our quality testing, we make sure that the quality's there and the safety issues are addressed before we offer anything. And the cool factor is very important to us. Just for even with my cousin Rookie, he showed me that his wheelchair was his vehicle to get to where he needed to go, but also could be a fashion accessory. So, I think that's the cool factor for Patty and Rookie is very important to us, and we want to really offer products that people want. So we do have a suggestion section on our website for parents to suggest certain products they've been looking for that are stylish and functional, and we do our best to find it for them.
That's awesome.
I will jump in here and say, I'll start off by saying success stories. I'll say will.i.am, Grammy-winning singer and producer, Lisa Ling, award-winning TV journalist, and David Neelerman, founder of JetBlue Airways. All three of these folks here that I just mentioned have ADHD. Another successful person that I would like to mention is Alexandra Connell.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
She's like, where are we going with this? Where are we going with this? Oh my goodness. But hey, tell us, we know about the website, but we would love for you to plug your website. If you have any social media plugs, where if we have any parents that, who have children with ADHD and they can, find out more about your website or your story, where would they go?
Yeah, so for parents that have kids with any type of disability, Patty and Ricky is their place to go. Patty with an I and Ricky with a Y and an A-N-D in between, .com. So, and at the bottom of our homepage, we have our links to our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We like to be social and connect with our customers, and they can always call us or email us at info@pattiandricky.com. And we just want to be accessible, and we want to connect with our customers. We feel so lucky to have really incredible customers, and they've been loving it so far. They love it's been overwhelming, the response, so it's been wonderful.
Perfect. That's awesome. And yeah, and the other thing I noticed, and that's an extremely positive thing, we see that, as you mentioned on your website, that 10% of your profits go back to nonprofit organizations that support inclusion and access for individuals with disabilities. That itself is really wonderful in that, you're not just trying to make money off of, what you found to be a niche market, but you're also doing your best, doing something to give back to that community and the system. So that's kudos to you.
Thank you.
Definitely. Alexandra, we want to thank you for taking out a few minutes to join us, and we will definitely be stay in touch with you, because we'd love for you to check back in a few months with us.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been wonderful.
It's been great. Thanks for joining us, Alexandra. Great luck with everything. Nice story there. And, good to see one that someone was able to take something which, some people may turn around and, treat as a disability, and sounds like she tackled it head on.
It's true.
And is turning it into a positive.
That's true.
So, it's good to hear stories like that.
Really, really good. I'm not sure who her PR was, but her PR had reached out. I heard the story, and I was like, I'm all in. I'm all in, and let's get this person on. A month ago, I was like, let's get them booked. Let's hear their story, and let's make this happen. As we transition along, I want to go back to the Apple Education event that takes place this Tuesday, Rich, not in Cupertino, California, but at a high school in Chicago, Illinois.
Why did they switch it up? What's the deal?
It's an education event.
Okay.
You know, the Chicago Board of Education recently added computer science as a graduation requirement for all public schools in the city, making it a fitting pairing for an Apple event.
Oh, I would agree with that. That sounds good.
I am hoping. I mean, we love Apple products. We do.
Okay.
Kind of fun. Well, I have an Apple MacBook that I purchased 4 years ago.
It hasn't locked itself out yet?
No.
Next OS.
Next OS. I will say this much. There's a lot of rumors about Apple at this event releasing lower cost MacBook, iPad, potentially iPhone, because they want the education market, the educational.
But wasn't how did they lose it? I guess is the question. Because remember, I mean, we have to go back some time, obviously, but Apple was the education computer.
It was.
And then they had their renaissance and their change of market, and then the iPhone came out,
and then they lost their mind.
Yeah, it's like they forgot about everything else because nothing else was really making money for them. So
education pre 2007,
2007. Yeah, pre 2007. Every school had an iMac in it.
Yes.
And
the
rows
old
of
school,
them. The old school iMac and the bubblegum colors.
Yes.
Every school had those. And then things seemed to get kind of pricey. And now they're not there. So maybe they're going to make the move to get it back. Wouldn't be a bad thing. Let them come out with educational versions if they have to do it, something like that.
Right.
Apple has the power to do that. They've got the technological ability to do it. They can tool up for it easily enough.
I think
why not make it happen?
We said years ago that there's certain markets that they could just totally take over.
They could. Yeah.
And then they made an attempt with that iPhone C.
Yes.
And I don't want to say it died. It's just, I don't know how it turned out.
I think because iPhones, the way I see it, people generally buy iPhones partially as a status symbol. Okay. And why get an iPhone if it's going to be made out of plastic and be in pretty colors? Unless, it would be perfect if you want to give it to kids.
Okay.
Or youth. You have someone younger who you want to give a phone to. You don't want to give them $1,000 phone. You give them a $500 phone. Right. As ridiculous as that sounds. Maybe there was something to it along those lines. I mean, let's face it, the Apple minions are known to stand out there online every time there's a release.
Oh, they're going to stand out there regardless.
The newest thing. So for them, it's let's get the newest device no matter what, and it's not going to be the cheaper device. We're not looking at performance necessarily. We just want the newest thing.
So I'm not sure about you. I'm going to wait until Tuesday.
Yep.
I'm sure that event is going to be somehow streamed.
Oh, it has to be.
To the Safari browser.
Yes. To the Safari browser. Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll be sitting in one of our offices. And,
right.
It'll be on in a corner playing along with other things, and we'll see what Apple announces. It'll be interesting, I'm sure. Let's see if they come up with a new one. iPhone SE2. Nice idea.
I think iPhone SE2 would be a great idea. You know why? Because I am the owner of an iPhone SE.
You're the SE owner, yes.
And I got to tell you, I love the model. I like the small form factor phone, though it seems like no one else likes it.
Because it looks like an older phone. It
right.
looks like it's like an iPhone 3 or 4.
An iPhone 3.
Yeah.
And I pull out my iPhone, when I'm on the train,
yep.
I can just see those looks like,
He's using that. Does it still work?
Still work? Oh my goodness. But I'm going to switch a few things around here. I had final thoughts. The final thoughts was going to be on, I'm not sure if you saw the Hollywood Reporter post. It was explaining or showcasing the PBS suit against Tavis Smiley.
No, I didn't.
I've always been a big fan of Tavis Smiley because I've always liked what he's done, like his body of work, the whole portfolio.
Right.
There's been some stumbles here and there. I followed with him from back when he used to be on NPR.
Right. Oh wow, you going way back.
Yeah, with the Daily Show on NPR. Okay. So where will I go with this? The PBS suit against Tavis Smiley, and as we all know, he was on PBS for about 15 years.
Yep.
Something came up about, during the Me Too.
Yeah, right.
And everyone was getting called out.
Somebody called him out. Yes.
Someone called him out. So there was a suit or an investigation against him. At the same time, Smiley was suing PBS for breach of contract and being racially hostile in their working relationship. I got to take a deep breath. I'm like, being racially hostile in their working relationship, because they are...
It's PBS.
It's PBS.
Right.
Now, eventually, we will get this show to PBS. Okay?
One day.
PBS is a distributor.
Yes.
He didn't work for PBS. He distributed his show
via
PBS. So he's his own entity. He's his own media company.
See, I don't know enough about it. Does PBS have anything to do with the productions of what airs? I don't know.
Good question. They said a third-party investigator stated that he was the subject of 2 workplace discrimination claims. Smiley also admitted to probably telling sex jokes in the workplace, and that he may have sent pornographic images to subordinates.
See.
Okay.
Right.
Right there. Right there. I'm like, okay. Hold. Stop it.
I probably told sex jokes.
I probably told that.
And it may have sent pornographic images.
Okay, so if you're the CEO of your company and PBS is the distributor for your show, right. So all these people are working under you because they're not actually working for PBS.
Right, that sounds right.
Okay, so they're working for your multimedia company, and you're sending, he may have sent something that was adult material.
Right, third-party investigator found that.
Right, third party. So someone
got hired to do the investigation.
Yes.
And they found it.
Right. It said witness statements add fuel to the harassment argument, with claims of Smiley commenting about subordinates' body parts in the presence of a colleague, informing a female subordinate that he would like to see her on her back more often, informing a subordinate that he thought she must be good in bed, persistently pursuing subordinates for sex, and among other things, having or requesting sexual encounters with subordinates in hotel or at his home.
All right. See, reading all those alleged comments.
Right.
Alleged. We have to preface everything with alleged.
Alleged.
We're reporting here on something else that's already been reported. This is, again, when, we heard all these things coming out over the last couple of years. Many times we looked at each other like, who are these people that are doing this? Who thinks that? Who comes up with the idea of coming up with these things and saying them to someone else in the workplace?
Right.
Especially someone that works for you in the workplace. Come on. This isn't just 2 co-workers. This isn't just a guy hitting on someone else who he works with or anything like that. Not that it's good either. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, you're the boss. And you're allegedly making these type of comments. I just don't get it.
Smiley's initial complaint called the investigation incomplete and trumped up. Trumped up.
Boom.
PBS alleges that it was thorough and that it's the third-party investigators' lack of interviews with current Smiley employees is due to the host refusing to waive their NDAs.
So y'all can't say anything because y'all signed it up that
you signed off.
Can't say anything. That is what an NDA is going to do.
Didn't Stormy Daniels?
I was just about to go. Stormy Daniels.
Didn't she sign an NDA and she's the reason why
the noose is tightening?
Right. So if there's any credence to this report, then someone please explain to me how Tavis Smiley was immediately picked up by the Word Network, a religious organization, channel, available to, I don't know, 90 million homes, and currently involved in the multiple city town halls talking about having relationships in the workplace. I'm not sure what's going on here with this.
I mean, sure, did someone at the Word Network say, all right, if we take him on, we're just going to get great publicity and we'll get more people to listen to us?
I don't know.
And who better to talk about relationships at work than the guy who's trying to have a bunch of relationships at work?
It's true. It's true. The only thing I would say in Smiley's defense, and it's not even in his defense.
Right.
He was able to take 15 years worth of his shows.
He owns all his material.
He owns all of his materials. This is like you owning your masters.
Right.
You know, you're just like, you know what? Give me all of this, and I'm getting on out of here. I don't know, Rich. I'm going to leave that one there.
This is just something in development. We'll just have to see how it plays out.
But I think his new show starts next week.
On the Word Network.
On the Word Network. And also it's going to be, you know, on Apple TV.
Right.
And, you know, Amazon.
So here's the question.
Mm-hmm.
Will you watch?
I will.
There you go.
Give it a watch.
Answered the question already.
I will give it a watch because the first episode is on MLK.
Okay.
It's on MLK 50.
Okay.
So you notice that was a way for me to wiggle out of it. I was just like,
But that kind of answers the question.
Yeah.
So the Word Network figured that's what's going to happen.
That's what's going to happen. Wanted to get to you about streaming. I still haven't finished Collateral.
Okay.
The 4-part UK Netflix show. I just started watching Marvel's Runaway.
I haven't seen that one yet.
10 episodes. It's on Hulu.
Okay. All right.
A lighter version of like New Mutants type.
Okay. All right.
You know, it's much lighter. Billions starts
okay.
tonight.
I will be watching The Walking Dead.
Gotcha.
Which, you know, that show is getting. They should start wrapping that up.
Long in the tooth.
That before, starting to get a little long in the tooth. I mean, let's see what happens after what you think will end this season. The latest and greatest battle with the latest and greatest big bad guy who has been the worst of them all so far. Let's see what happens there. I think it's time to start wrapping that up a little bit. But I think I mention 7 seconds.
Yes, you did mention 7 seconds.
I haven't gone back to it yet.
Okay.
But I will give it a fair shot.
Okay.
And I always say with everything, give it 2 or 3 episodes.
Right.
To be fair.
Right.
So I'll go back and start looking at that again and see if it grabs me.
Did you see what debuted on Friday night? Roxanne Shante or Roxanne?
I haven't seen it yet, but that's on my to-watch list.
I watched it.
Yeah?
I watched it. There's 2 different perspectives from it. I liked it from a creativity perspective.
Okay.
The fact that my wife is originally from Long Island City, Queensbridge.
Okay.
Her and her brother were disputing
with
me, you know, some of the stuff, and I was just like, it's a movie.
It's a movie.
I don't know if it's a biopic or anything like that. I mean,
it's supposed to, because she went back and she got her doctorate and she did a few things. I knew that story already.
Right.
You know, she took her money and, you know, she disappeared and she did something with it. So it was good for her.
So it really it covers like maybe 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking it covers about 3 years from 14 to maybe 17.
Okay.
Covers, you know. It's now we're in 40 minutes.
Okay.
I thought it was a great watch.
Yeah,
I was laughing.
That's plenty of time.
You know, I was like, oh, okay, this is great. And just thinking back to when she was doing some concerts, some of the songs that she was performing, I was like, oh, I remember that song. I haven't heard it in 20 years.
Yeah.
You know. But I thought it was good. I finally caught the New Year's Eve release of Dave Chappelle. I finally watched.
I think I saw that one.
Oh my goodness! It was from him in Washington D.C.
Yes, I saw that one.
Of the 4, I think that might have been the best.
I think so too. You know, it's so good to see him back out there. we can only hope that he decides to come up with a weekly show again.
I don't think that's ever going to happen.
I don't think it'll happen either, but he should.
If
Netflix.
If you said, Dave Chappelle, give us 10 episodes for $100 million, I can't say I can't say that he wouldn't do it
for the money.
But then again, you hear from him, the way you hear him on stage, he's like, I don't need the money, I have enough money.
Right.
I'm good.
I'm doing this just because, but he's still taking that check.
He's still taking the check.
Can't hate him at all for it. I would do the same thing if I could.
Not at all. What was I going to say? Marvel Live was this weekend
at the Coliseum.
At the Coliseum.
Did you get a chance to go
I
with?
Did not.
I thought you were going to try.
I was going to try. Third party reached out on my behalf.
Yep.
Their influencers program was filled to capacity, and at that point, I was like, if I can,
okay,
great. If I can't,
oh well. And getting psyched up for Civil War.
Getting really psyched up for Civil War.
Second trailer's out. Show looks more and more interesting. I mean, this is going to be big. I still say we start taking bets on who dies.
I think without a doubt, Tony Stark.
I think so too.
I think without a doubt, Tony Stark, because there's been so much with Chris Evans, back and forth about Avengers 4 is my last movie.
Right.
And
yeah.
So that already lets you know, I'm going to survive.
Right. Yeah. This is true.
Or it's a con job, and he's just like, you know what? I'm the one that gets killed, and no one's going to expect it.
Yeah, you could be, but I think you're more correct in the first part. Yeah, he'll be around. Avengers 4, he'll be there. Tony Stark dies, and I'm thinking some other ancillary characters go too.
Yeah,
the Vision could go, and no one would really mind.
No one would really mind.
It's not going to be Ant-Man or Wasp, because they're going to have their own movie coming out. They're really new characters.
They're going to have a new movie coming out 2 minutes after.
Right. Okay.
I mean, excuse me, not 2 minutes. 2 months after.
2 months after. Yeah.
2 months after.
It's already in the book.
So I wanted to know, does that movie happen before Infinity War or not?
That's a good question. I'm thinking probably not. I'm thinking it happens after, because you use Infinity War as her introduction to the universe, really. And then you may not have to, since we already kind of know her backstory, who she is and all that, then you can go right into a movie as a movie, not as an origin story. Gotcha. I think. Could be wrong.
What you got going on this week?
This week, it should be a slightly quiet week for us, though, right? Back to school back with all the students, doing things, getting set up for finals soon enough. Just the normal run around. Gonna be a busy week for volunteer stuff, Tuesday and Thursday, and we just did last Saturday.
Gotcha.
So it's gonna be really busy there.
Gotcha. As always. Best ways to get in contact with you?
The only way I'm giving out. Late Night Rich.
And I am the real Ted Hicks, and we are out.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Have a great week.